You say, well, I haven't been the right kind of a husband and I haven't been the right kind of a father. What am I going to do? You're going to let Christ into your heart. You're going to ask Him to forgive your sin and come into your life and make you the right kind of a husband and the right kind of a father. Showtime! Woo! Woo!
All right, let's get started. All right, next episode of our podcast. Man, can you believe 13 days till Christmas?
No, don't remind me.
Is it not crazy?
It
It don't even feel real.
this
I'm like,
year. This year full alone.
Yeah.
I say that every year, I guess, but
I feel like December, man. I feel like it's December 1st.
in the late Thanksgiving didn't help.
No,
Didn't help. We had the tornado, or the hurricane. Everything was kind of.
I want to blame it on the late, Thanksgiving, but I don't know if that was the actual case or not.
It is. What else you gonna blame it on? Time of flying. But I'm more prepared for Christmas when it comes to like plans for the holidays and shopping, and we were more prepared for Thanksgiving than we normally are. We're always hosting everybody, and it's been nice. But I definitely, when I sit there and when I write the date, or at work is calendar weeks, right? When I'm looking at it's calendar week 50, a couple weeks ago, calendar 48, 49, 50. Like it's the end of the year. It's over. It's done. 2024 is.
I don't do the calendar date. I mean the weeks.
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh,
what's the purpose of that?
Data. So we're not doing it by day or month. You're saying calendar, from calendar week 16 through calendar week 23.
Okay.
Trend charts over a week. So how do you name a week without calling it a calendar week of the year? Like you don't ever look at anything weekly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I look at a ton of stuff weekly and monthly. But if you're ever breaking it down weekly.
Is that a work thing?
I think it's just a data thing in general.
Oh. No,
anyway, cut that boringness. we'll have a work.
I mean, I'm learning something about you because I'm like, I don't do that. Yeah.
So you don't ever. I mean, you look at data.
Yeah.
We'll take this conversation offline.
Statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bore you guys to death. I turn this off. Turn some Christmas music on.
Until I get let me bring up some spreadsheets behind us.
So we are kind of going through our Christmas season. We are 13 days at the time of this recording, 13 days until Christmas, which is crazy. Like I said, me and my family, we're leaving 20th. We're going to go up to Pigeon Forge for Gatlinburg area for 2 or 3 days and then come back for Christmas. Did that same thing last year.
Nice.
So excited.
Yeah.
But, man, been doing some quiet time, getting ready for, Christmas season. I love going through, Luke. Like I said, Luke 1 and 2, Matthew, just reading the Christmas story. Been powerful. Been sharing some with the small group,
Yeah.
Things been
Yeah.
speaking out to me. But when I was actually going through some of this scripture, one thing that, I wanted to do before I started reading the story of Jesus was look at what did God say? What was the last thing God said before Jesus arrives to his people? And, this is in Malachi 4:6. So I went back to the Old Testament and looked at Malachi 4:6.
I know. I just want to see if you know.
I wasn't asking you. I was just. But anyway, in Malachi 4:6, he says, "This is what God said," and then we have a 400-year pause before really John the Baptist shows up, and then Jesus. He says, "He will turn the hearts of the parents to their children, and the hearts of the children to the parents. Or else I will come and strike the land with total destruction." So the last thing he tells his people is that he's going to turn the hearts of their children to them and them to their children. And it made me start thinking about Christmas, of how much of an opportunity that Christmas is for us. We are going to get to see family that we never get to see.
Yeah.
You see friends that you don't get to see. Even in our church, we have that time where we all come together back to the main campus, and you're seeing all your old small group members and things. So you're just connecting with people that and even this time kind of slows down, I guess, work related.
Yeah.
So
everybody's in a bit. I mean, there's a hustle and bustle, but I do feel that peace and that joy. Like everybody's in a little better mood.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the cupcakes and the cookies everywhere all the time or what, but people are in a little better mood.
So I was interested, when I was, thinking about this, and that God turning the heart of His children back to the parents, and parents vice versa, is kind of doing a little research, and what are some of the common family disputes that you have that on Christmas? With like family, because you come back together and you got people that you hadn't seen. And a lot of times, people maybe you don't like.
Mhm. Maybe.
Have some of those. Got any crazies in your family?
Yeah. I think it's us, but yeah,
Got
they're there.
that crazy uncle,
Yeah, I think I am that crazy uncle.
cousin
But
Eddie.
whatever. Yeah, we got some. And but it's just like all that goes out the window. You're happy that you're there and that they're there, and you try to put some of those differences or whatever aside. But I don't know, why is it different around this time of year? Why am I doing that? Why are we going out of our way and making that making that exception to spend that time together, and we don't do it the rest of the year? And it's sad. And then there's the family that you love and that you absolutely love being around. I think of my older sister, who's not that far away, who I only see her and her family, probably once or twice a year.
Yeah.
It used to be more than that, but and there's no problems. Like, we love each other, love seeing each other. It's just it kind of sucks that it's only around the holidays, but I also enjoy it and also look forward to it. So
Yeah, I did growing up, and I had some uncles and stuff. I only saw them one time a year.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And really that's the only time I got to really know them and them to really know me.
Mhm.
But so some things that kind of stood out to me, and I know our family situation may be different from yours. But there's some people I know you just don't get along with your family. You dread the holidays. You don't even want to get together because there's going to be some kind of family dispute. But so here's some common family disputes at Christmas. One of them is past arguments. This is like a relative may rehash an old argument or bring up past mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think in my family, I would call us, we got the one upper side where we all get, you got the group of guys over there.
Yeah.
And somebody's telling a story about, younger, and somebody's, well, I can beat that story. And then tell another story. And
that's natural.
Yeah.
That's okay. I might do that from time to time.
And their stories sometimes get, very elaborate. Something that didn't even happen. Like, I always get that story told about me, like a kid. And they're like, man, you were so, things that you did, I'm surprised you're not dead,
Mm-hmm.
because you're just so destructive as a kid.
Yeah.
But I would hear him tell the story. I'm like, well, what happened in that story you just told? I would have been dead. I wouldn't have survived this. But you got any of those old arguments to bring up? Y'all bring up past stories?
We're pretty good. Yeah, we're definitely. And a lot of times it's the same stories. And I remember being young, I'm like, are we going to talk about the same thing again with grandma? But now that I'm older, I'm like, you love to hear it. Now it gets better over the years too, because it does get it's a little bit of that fish story going on, right? But and it's just, I love to see that, and like, especially the older folks, uncles and aunts, and even my parents now, like, to see them, thinking back or having to really think to recall those memories, and then just, the happiness that comes with it. Good stories. I'm talking about good stories.
But it's important to tell the stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To get around and tell those stories, because one, I want my kids to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
I want my kids to tell them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this happened to my dad. Tell it to my grandkids, and
Mm-hmm.
So you pass these stories along. I mean, you read a lot of times these old, tales that you hear, somebody's
story.
Yeah, somebody's story that got passed down the line.
Yeah.
And it probably got exaggerated a little bit, but still,
But we don't have.
There's always some truisms in there somewhere, right?
We don't have a lot of arguments or people that can't. I mean, we got. We've got people that dated and now married to other people, and then still part of the family, and it's
they don't like soap opera thing, right?
It could be. I mean, I see the awkwardness in it, but everybody handles it well right now, and so it's all been good. But like, what about you? You got people like, we can't let them sit together, or
no,
we got
I don't think so.
Or,
I mean,
Uncle John's coming, so we ain't gonna be there that night. We'll come. Okay.
No, we don't have any of that. But there's family that's had disputes and stuff, but at Christmas time, it's forgotten.
Set aside.
Yeah, everybody gets along. But how about so another one is child discipline, right? You show up and somebody's kids are just acting crazy, like, man.
Nope. See, when you have kids like mine, everybody's kids seem like angels. You're just like, man.
So you look at the other kids, like,
yeah.
Well, honey, we're doing something wrong.
Oh, I got to bring my kids. Hopefully, if something rubs off, or let somebody else discipline them for a while. No, it's not that bad. But No, man, I love kids. I love kids and all their craziness. And plus, like you said, it's the one of the few times a year you see these people. So it's fine. And of course, we have the young kids now. So there's probably people sitting around having this conversation about us, like Stephen and Pam, are gonna be, and Max and Owen are going to be there. Oh no, but
Put all the breakables up.
yeah, we're on the other side of that right now, so I'm good.
That's if you don't have that, if you're not, you don't have that person that you talk about this one, you're probably that person. They're talking about you.
Oh man,
Yeah, they're probably talking about you.
yeah.
I've been guilty of that. Or Amanda's the worst though. I think she'll call it out. She'll like, man, she needs to get a hold of that kid. You know, or, why aren't they doing something with that kid? Acting crazy at the dinner table or whatever else. But again, I know we have we have our different opinions on discipline sometimes. Sometimes another one was future pressures. Relatives may pressure others about the future. We talked about this a little bit because the boys getting done with high school. There's a lot of pressure there. Like, all right, what do you want to do? What's next? What's next?
And it's also that I remember it. I remember like it wasn't too long ago. It's that expectations, right? And you're their age. You're coming out of high school or even in college or whatever, and you're not quite sure. You don't know.
Does anybody know?
No, but everybody still asks that question, especially adults. What are you studying? What are you going to do? What do you want to be? And I feel like I got to have that answer. And we're talking about family and people or friends, even that you only see a few times a year. Those questions come up, and there is pressure. I remember that pressure, and it's like.
I mean, Andrew and Colin both went through it like that. Dad, I don't know, what I want to do. And Colin was really late before he ended up going to NGU, and
Colin or Andrew?
Colin.
Colin was?
Yeah, he was late. He wasn't he didn't plan. He's like, all right, we actually went and did some tours at other colleges like Coastal and some other places. And, Colin growing up, he's like, I always want to be a doctor. He went to the total opposite of that. I want to, be this, going to this field where I'm helping people, but I'm going to make tons of money. Now I'm going to go to this field where I'm helping people and I ain't going to make nothing.
Yeah.
Pastoral field. But it's just funny. And sometimes this does kind of irk me a little bit. It's like, you'll hear them like telling somebody, and I wouldn't say it's not always in our family, but the first response is like, ugh. You're going to regret that. Or
really?
And I don't know that it's so much in the pastoral side of it. Maybe other pastors might say that.
Yeah.
But when you hear this is like going into teaching field, like Andrew.
Yeah. I don't know. We all want to see everybody make all this money because we think, I don't know. I try to.
Well,
I hope I don't pressure people like that. I want people to go. I mean, I want to tell them. I want to give them real life advice. Like,
we'll be positive.
I hope that you're going to do something you love. And if you don't know what that is yet, then keep figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because you will know when you get it, and you'll never work a day. You know what they say. You'll never work a day in your life. And I mean, for me, I ended up in not odd, but just somewhere I never thought I would. But I love it every day. There's a challenge, and if it suits my personality, and I mean, as it's stressful to run around, whatever, but it's fun. It is fun. And I end up in a good place and I get to deal with people and I like that.
Well, me too, man. Growing up, I was, I worked in computers and stuff and I, this late 90s, right? So it's right when the boom of computers are really fixing to take off. Internet's fixing to take off. And so I just kind of hit it right, but I went into the telecommunication side of it. And man, I never thought at that time when I was coming up in school, it was like, hey, one day you're going to work from your house.
Yeah. That's where you
ain't never got to leave your house. You can sit in your pajamas chair and just sit there.
But that ain't for everybody. Some people need to leave their house so they can get in work mode.
But,
you got to learn how to do it.
Yeah, you got to be intentional.
Yeah.
And,
discipline.
Yeah. But I absolutely blessed, man. What I love about my job too is that, it's very fruitful, but it's also gives me opportunity to do these things, right?
Yeah.
You got, even you got freedom to, with two, and you're in a different position than I am. You got two young kids you got to tend to. So even this podcast here, we're recording this at night.
We're recording around Steven's schedule whenever he can get the kids to bed or what shift he's working.
But and I appreciate that though, because I know that it's more of a struggle for you than it is me. Because my kids might like, hey, Dad, watch this Christmas movie. Well, I gotta go spend time with Uncle Steven.
Yeah, the crazy uncle. I'll keep him out in the shed. I won't bring him in the house.
That's right. But yeah, future pressures. I don't think that. I mean, people ain't pressuring me. What you gonna do? What's your 5-year plan? But I do definitely see my boys.
I remember that. I remember feeling pressure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Holiday plans. There may be a conflict over which family to visit. Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh man, we're blessed, dude. Our families hang out.
That's good.
Yeah, I think we tell a lot of people that, and they're real surprised. But the mother-in-laws are fighting for time. Typically,
Mhm.
I feel like, what night are y'all coming here? In ours, we do it together. We do Christmas together at both of their houses, both days, and Thanksgiving all together. And they hang out without us together. So that's like, I guess we really don't, until you talk about it or talk to other people, you don't realize what a blessing that is to have mother-in-laws like that.
Now, are you sure they're not doing like an intervention that came together and said, "Look, we got to help these"?
No, they do without us, man. Like,
that's what they're planning.
They're planning. Well, they're planning at the nail salon. They're planning at the Biltmore house. They're just gallivanting around just to planning. So whatever, but they get along.
That's awesome, man.
Is
That's
cool.
awesome to have that friendship and that connection.
It is. It helps tremendously. I don't have to fight that. And then I think about mixed families or whatever, where they're with dad for part of it and mom for part of it, and you're just 4 Christmases quickly.
Yeah, that's definitely. We're blessed because we just me and Amanda. We've never been married before, but yeah, absolutely. Like when you go to a school, like, and I've said this, Colin, when he was little, he said that the teacher came out and said, how many, I don't know why this came up, but this was what, Colin's 20, so he was 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember him coming home and saying, "Dad, teacher asked this question about, is your mom and dad, living at home?" I was the only one in the class that had mom and dad at home.
Only one?
Yeah, out of like 20, kids in that class. And I never even thought about that until he brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, because that was just normal for us, right? But there's so many that, when you listen to this podcast, most of them, you have multiple Christmases.
Yeah.
And that puts a strain, right? Because now you're not, you got dad's parents, mom's parents, and you maybe have a stepfather, stepmother, in there too. So definitely.
And they're not all hanging out like my mother-in-law and my mom.
No.
Probably not.
Definitely blessed in that sense. But yeah, I even warned Colin, because Colin's getting old, going to be graduating college in another year, and going to be making marriage plans. What I loved the other day, he was sitting on the couch, and he was kind of talking about some of this too. And I said, "Yeah, Colin, you got one more year." And I was like, "Man, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah. The bills are coming in.
You got to start paying your own insurance, and you got to pay your phone bill."
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and said, "Daddy, I'm not ready."
Mm-hmm.
And not that he wasn't ready to pay the bills. He's like, "I'm not ready to grow up."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I want to stay a kid."
And what'd you say? Me either, Colin. But
Exactly. But I mean, he's right. I mean, it just comes so fast. He's like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
I was a little boy the other day, and now I'm. It's time for me to come be a man and pay my own bills, and So the struggles are are getting real for him. So another thing is gift spending. There may be arguments over or anxiety about how much much to spend on gifts.
Yeah.
Got that rich person in your family that always just outdoes everybody?
No, I got some good gift givers in our family that I can't believe how I'm not too good at it. I'm not good at it.
Like thoughtful gifts?
Yeah, like just the right thing, that fits. Like, man, Pam's brother is that way. But we've as a family done pretty good, man. We cap it at a certain amount, and we started drawing names instead of everybody trying to get for everybody. So you only get for one person, which part of me goes, I'm not getting my mom anything this year, but it's okay. I mean, if I really want to get her something, I can get her something anytime.
We do the same thing. I mean, as far as like me, brothers, and sister, Amanda's sister, and all that.
But everybody gets for the kids. Is how we do.
Everybody gets for the kids. And everybody gets for Amanda, the parents. So,
well, that's everybody. Who else is there?
No, because we got brothers. Like if it's Amanda and her sister and brother, and so we would draw names in that sense.
Oh, so everybody would get for the children or y'all's parents, not you.
Not
parents. Me. Oh, okay. God, I was like, that's everybody. So everybody's just coming because
it
gets hectic.
I haven't graduated to that yet.
No, I don't. And then,
do y'all? So when you open gifts, do y'all do it like order, or does everybody just tear into it?
A little half and half, man.
Age?
Everybody wants to see everybody. Oh no, yeah, the kids. It's a little chaotic. Well, again, I have a 3 and a 6-year-old, and so do my brother-in-law. And
they don't want to wait. They're like, we're going to open up everything.
Then
they get bored because you're sitting there trying to, maybe open yours in order and like, come on, put this together.
No, but we do good, stay with the limit, and then, I don't know. But I mean, I've been there before. I've overspent on Christmas and looked back, credit card bill hit or something. I'm like, what were we thinking? I was in the spirit. I was in the Christmas spirit. No, I was in the
Dude,
spending spirit.
and that's a good point, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. Is just overspending and the
easy.
anxiety that brings, because you're and it's a moment that just goes by quickly.
Yep.
It's not worth doing that.
Yep.
But another one's embarrassing stories. There may be arguments or upset feelings about rehashing embarrassing childhood stories. That kind of already goes back to past arguments.
That's what families are for, man. That's what they're supposed to do.
I always talk about,
you guys crush your kids, man. You tell your boys embarrassing stories all the time. Amanda does.
Yeah.
She just goes right out at it. And I'm like, man, they're right there, Amanda. They can hear you. I don't care. They know.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Nope, doesn't care.
But it's love, man. It's all love.
But I mean, so I don't guess that really bothers me about the embarrassing stuff, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to embarrass me, because especially stuff we do, small group and stuff. But I think when I hear some of the stories about me, I was like, man, was I the worst kid that ever lived? Because some of these stories was like, I was like, little Satan walking around. I was like, I didn't think I was that bad. I mean, I was.
And if anybody's sitting around the holidays telling stories and bringing up stories from your past that are hurtful, like really hurtful, and get it.
Just cause that awkward moment, when somebody's telling a story. Oh, you put me down again?
Yeah. Karma. Like, did you want to make me cry? Because that's what's about to happen. They'll be like, oh.
You want me to leave Christmas hurt? So, another one's parental control. Parents may want to control the lives of their adult children. I think this goes back to, there was a whole sermon series about, it was a man, talking about men, but he was talking about the holidays, and I can't remember the pastor, but he was preaching on that, that causes a lot of conflict, husband and wife, when the parents, like the husband's mom is in his ear, wife's mom's in her ear, and they don't realize the conflict that can cause in a marriage. When the Bible talks about that, it says, when you get married, you become one.
Yeah, and you leave your family,
you leave your mother and father. Yeah. So the mother and father has to realize is that no, we take second, now, and that's one thing. Amanda's going to have to deal with that, because when our boys get married, and Ava Lee grows up and she gets married, they're going to have to make a decision on what they're doing for Christmas. You can't be that causing conflict.
I tell them a smart decision to make right now. But, again, we're blessed. We don't have that problem. I've seen it. I've seen that problem. I hear stories, and, and it's not funny sometimes. Sometimes it's really serious. Like, it does cause a lot of animosity.
The thing is, you don't enjoy Christmas because there's this animosity over, well, you may go to that parent's house, but that now you and your wife are at a fight, and you go in there and you sit on separate.
Yeah, and none of this should be stressful. This is your little few days off work or whatever it is, and this is Christmas time with the family, and it should just be what you want. And I get it. Like, it just shouldn't have that added stressor.
This is a time to be really celebrating, and going back to my quiet time, the two of the quiet times I had this week were because you had John the Baptist that was born, then you had Jesus is getting ready to be born. I haven't even got into Luke 2 yet, but you have Mary's song and you have Zechariah's song. Zechariah was John the Baptist's father, and then Mary, of course, Jesus' mother. But they have these sections in Luke 1 where they sing praises to God, and this is what we should be doing. In my quiet time, that was one thing I was asking myself: what is my song? Am I singing it? Am I singing my song? Am I singing praises to God during this time of how blessed we are, to have a family and to have our loved ones? And I don't know if you saw this on the news here recently, where Phil Robinson, got diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
No.
So Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
Definitely that family's a Christian family. Got several podcasts. Jace mentioned on his podcast the other day that Phil had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and had some other health issues too. But man, I had a great grandmother that had Alzheimer's, and such a horrific disease. And that's kind of one of those fears I always had. I thought, Lord, I don't want to go like that. But I had my grandfather. He had had cancer, but they, gave him all kinds of things to fight the cancer, ended up causing dementia.
Mhm.
And I just remember, when he was going through that, it was like, Lord, why are you keeping him here like this,
Mhm.
and not being able to remember. But that's always been a fear of mine. I was like, man, I don't want my kids to remember
You
me,
said that
those
before.
things. But the reason I bring that up is, here you're going into the holidays, and man, you don't never know when
Mhm.
this is someone's last really holiday.
Yep.
Make the most of it.
Yeah.
Make those memories. Let it be a special time. Love on each other. Get past differences,
Mhm.
and be thankful. It's hard to be mad at somebody when you're thanking God.
Yeah. Mm.
And you start really, truly looking at the blessings and the good times. There's always going to be bad times. And like I said, I had some rough times coming up, with some family members, but man, we want the Lord to forgive us. We got to forgive them, and make the best of those times. So here's some things that you can do to make the best of those times. And number one, sing like you mean it.
Working on it, Chucky. I'm working on it.
Sure, there are some Christian, and this is talking about like, everybody's, going around doing caroling and hearing Christmas music on the radio. You listen to Christmas music on the radio,
Absolutely.
or you got your app? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Sirius XM, but yeah, let's do.
We took a look. Well, I don't have Sirius XM.
Oh man.
Yeah, that comes free in BMW, right? Yeah, I don't have subscriptions to that. Anyway, the listen to that Christmas music. My kids love it. As soon as it comes on November 1st, they're looking for the station that's actually playing that music. And Andrew, he'll play it in the summertime just to boost him up a little bit. So sing like you mean it. Number two, say thank you. Be appreciated.
Yeah. Because I try to be very, very aware of that, because it's something I think I want sometimes. It's like I don't want you to pay me back or nothing. I just want to know. I want you to know that I went out of my way to do this, and that you're grateful that it meant something to you. So I know that's probably not the right way to feel. We should do things, especially with like giving and helping out of the goodness. But sometimes I guess I think about work or things like that. That I want that gratitude, that I want to know that you appreciate it.
I had a guy this morning that called me, made me feel good. He was my best friend growing up.
Mm.
Was my best friend growing up, and don't get to talk to him a lot. But had him in my phone. The day my phone rings, and I look down. It's him. I answer the phone. He's like, "Hey man, how you doing? Doing good." Kind of go back and forth, chat a little bit. He said, "Man, I got some money I want to donate to some missions, or somebody's in need at Christmas." And
Really,
the first thing I thought about was you. I know how much you do, for others and stuff.
big compliment.
Yeah, what a compliment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, man, he was kind of just talking about some of the different, sponsoring kids, things like that. So, well, we might be getting toward the end of that. I don't know if there's any openings to still do that. But talk about some mission stuff that's coming up. And he's like, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to bring some money to you.
Cool.
And I'm like, doesn't care where it goes.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, Lord laid it on my heart to do it.
And he knows you're going to get to the right place.
And he's like, you know what? I know what you're going to do. You're going to do what needs to be done with it, and I'm going to bring it to you. I'm like, wow, So, what I want to say is thank you. Thank you for calling me and saying something like that. What a compliment.
And there's a lot of trust and all that.
Yeah, I mean, another one. So say thank you. Be appreciative to everything, even when you get those socks you don't like.
Oh man, that fruit cake or whatever, like somebody made.
I remember my kids growing up though. They if you gave them socks or underwear or something like that, they just kind of threw it over their shoulder.
Absolutely. Now,
and
it's so funny. Now I look for that. I love that. Now they're expensive socks probably now, but.
Well, what if somebody just got you some old cheap Hanes or something, man? You gonna toss it over your shoulder?
I'm a little snooty about socks and underwear. Sorry.
You don't wear underwear, man.
You
wear like leggings. You wear like leggings or something, man. They're the longest things I've
Oh
seen.
yeah, sliding shorts, man. Sliding shorts.
Just in case.
Yep.
Just in case.
If it's a softball game, I'm ready.
Yeah. That, or if you need to slide across your hood like Dukes of Hazzard or something, you're ready to go. You ain't gonna scratch that.
No skin. No.
I taught a lesson on that, man. I remember teaching it to some of my youth boys, and talk about when you get a great gift, how appreciative are you of that gift? And again, this time of year is when we should be celebrating the greatest gift we've ever received. But do we treat Jesus like an old pair of socks or socks that we got for Christmas and just say,
Take it for granted.
no big deal?
Yeah,
no
we
big
have
deal.
this every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no big deal.
Oh,
Make a big deal out of it. Make it that this is the best gift I've ever given, and I want to celebrate it.
Mhm.
Tell people about it.
And I think that you nailed it right there. Tell people about it. I think if you're not doing that, and I try to have that focus. Recent years of what is the real reason and purpose of all these celebrations and why we're doing what we're doing. But if I'm not sharing about that and telling people, and it really with my kids, because I'm trying to teach them, right? I'm trying to not let them get caught up in the hubbub of everything else, and it's like, and just keeps in the forefront of my mind. It just lets me know why God wants us, spreading the gospel. Sometimes it's for us too. It's to keep our priorities right and everything as well. But I see that with being able to trying to explain to my kids and share the gospel with my kids. But Pastor Dylan mentioned it at church this week, and it was kind of a light bulb for me, is that non-believers at this time of year are a little more receptive to take an invitation to come to church or have a conversation about, and for me, my biggest one is this guy at work, his daily battle, and it's this battle of wits, and he's always trying to
Well, there's so many
argue
people that
stuff.
say, "Well, I don't believe in Jesus, but I'll celebrate Christmas."
Oh yeah. Man, what if we just put a halt? Like, wait, no, you don't get the Black Friday deal. You don't.
What?
No.
Another one here was put down the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We pray for opportunities to be present, to do the things, and you are seeing family that you normally would not get to spend time with. Put your phone down and spend time with.
Oh yeah, especially talking about those little. I'm talking about daily with family, but yeah, especially these times with the holidays. Yeah, make the most of that time.
I mean, it's not saying don't take pictures, and when you got your family together and you can get everybody together and take a picture and share it and say, I'm proud of this. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're sitting around just cruising when everybody's opening gifts and being not communicating, don't do that.
Yeah.
Put the phone down. Spend time with your family.
I say that all year round as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Enjoy some cookies. You'll love this one.
What? That's not fair.
Oh, the dreadful holiday pounds. Sure, we need to be on guard against gluttony, but we need to be on guard against censorship, censoring, these types of things during the holidays. Enjoy it. God created food to be received with Thanksgiving. And that's one thing I've mentioned in small group, because every Sunday night when we do our small group, we eat.
Yeah.
We got, it's become a thing. You got to do it.
It's our best meal of the week, my family.
Well, food brings you together. We talked about this last week, how important it is to have, these wonderful, my granny and them who cooked food and brought the family together.
Yeah.
But I love, usually on Christmas Eve, Amanda will start baking and the house just smells. It smells good. Just different and things that we're going to eat that night, but just going in and sneaking cookies as, she's cooking, and sometimes I help join in. Number 5, talk to your family. Why not put in 5 minutes worth of thought on the way to your grandmother's house to think of 5 questions? Maybe conversation flows easily with family. With some family, but some it does not.
Yeah.
And I know that. You got those people like, man, what do I have in common with them? What do you talk about?
Instead of talking about the college playoffs right now, or the old stories, or hey, what are you going to do when you grow up? If you have some meaningful, thoughtful, thought-provoking, and that you put some time in to think about. And yeah, I like that one. That's a good one.
Just coming to them and tell them. It's like at Thanksgiving. I know a lot of families, they'll sit around and we've done it before.
Yeah.
Just tell you what you're thankful for.
Yeah.
Talk about each person and say, hey, this is what I'm thankful for. That right there could be a greater gift than you could ever wrap up and give to them. Just telling them what they mean to you and the influence they've had on your life.
How many times they don't know, right? And we don't tell them.
Well, I
till
challenge
it's too late.
I've challenged the men to do that. People I disciple, and we did that discipleship through Killing Kryptonite,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things that they were challenged with: is who's a man that was impactful in your life? Does he know?
Yeah, I still got that assignment. Still,
Does he know? Go tell them, man.
write a letter. Yeah,
You might bring somebody to some tears,
Yeah.
when you walk up to them and say, you were one of the most impactful people in my life.
Yeah.
But we have those people in our family too. People that just really set a foundation of like, you know what, I want to be like that uncle
Mhm.
or that aunt or
Your
whoever.
grandpa.
Yeah, my grandfather. Number 6, find time to be quiet. At some point, get away and be still, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I know this is harder for you than it is for me, but one thing that I do, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to anybody, on Christmas Eve, kind of when the ruckus is all down, even no matter how cold it is outside, I noticed on Christmas Eve a lot of times if you go outside, there's a lot of stars out. I'll just go out and I don't know, thank God.
Mhm.
Thank God for my family,
But by yourself.
by myself,
Yeah.
just quietness with me and Him. And sometimes I don't utter a word, and I just let the Holy Spirit utter on my behalf, But just go outside and have a quiet moment with God, and on
Yeah,
Christmas.
especially in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
In the middle of all the hustle.
And I'm gonna tell you, it refreshes my soul. Pray for opportunities. And what if we prayed for at least one opportunity in the next 2 weeks to share the gospel? I bet God would honor that prayer.
Yep. Pretty sure he would.
Man,
Pretty sure he does.
yeah.
It's there.
You got a family member that's on your heart, it's burdening your heart, and maybe you're listening to this right now, and somebody just popped in your head from listening to this.
Yeah.
All right, they didn't pop in your head for no reason. They popped in your head because God's laid them in your heart to have a conversation with them. And it can start with, I just want to let you know how much I'm thankful for you.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be awkward.
It's easier right now. I think people are, again, they're more receptive, and there's going to be more opportunities. Just what we're talking about, just this season in general. There's going to be conversation.
I think most people think, well, when you share the gospel, it's you got to be putting somebody down or dogging some way they're living their life.
Yeah,
because sinful things are
what it feels like. Yeah.
Conviction, right?
Yeah.
Conviction hurts, it stings, but you can do it in a loving way and say, I just want to tell you how much I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to ridicule you or put you down. I'm just here to say I'm here for you. Anytime you need to talk, call me. And if you got a word, you got a Bible verse, you got some kind of testimony yourself you can share with them to encourage them, do it. God will give you the words. Quit struggling and worrying about what you're going to say. Just go get in front of them, and I'm telling you, it'll flow. Make a year-end gift. Your church is probably trying to make budget, so our rescue missions, crisis pregnancy centers, Christian schools, mission agencies, and a dozen other kingdom causes. Go ahead and be generous. And I'm gonna tell you, that's one thing that all the people in our small group and in our church and stuff, a bunch of generous people.
Yeah,
man.
it really is. And I tell you what, that's one thing we talked about: buyer's remorse and spending too much and getting in the spirit. And I've never felt that way about giving ever. I've never been like, whoa, we shouldn't have done that, or it never, and that just lets me know that it's for the right reasons and at the right time and to the right places.
I don't know,
it's fulfilling.
It is. I never, that's one thing, you're right. When it comes to, I have regretted making purchases. I've never regretted giving. Never regretted giving. And the thing is, I didn't worry about it. Even if it was like, man, that's more than I would normally give.
That trust or that faith. And it's
not my money. It's yours.
Yeah, man.
And one thing we always think about is, well, I tithe and I give my 10%, and that's great. I'm glad you tithe and you give your 10%, but that's the starting point for one. But number two, God really cares about how you handle the other 90% that you're holding on to.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing with it? Are you being selfish with it? Is it all about you?
Or irresponsible, which is what I kind of feel guilty with sometimes, that we're not frugal enough, and we don't pay attention. And I feel like that's not stewarded correctly. Like, yeah, you got it. If not that I have it by any means, but like, I just feel like that's being irresponsible, not planning better.
And if you're looking for somewhere to give, you can go to
My Cash App is.
youaretheman.org.
There you go.
There's a missions page I've got that of a couple wonderful missions. Benjamin House is one. Absolutely. I'm telling you, life changing.
Yeah.
$20 can change a life.
And if you really researched into that, looked into that, or have any questions about that, I just think there's no question that it's a mission with a worthy cause, and everything goes where it's supposed to go.
It goes, and
That's
you
the
can
important
completely trust, that what's happening there. And so absolutely. And again, we're going on a mission trip. Me and Ava Lee, Stephen, going to Uganda this year, and I'm gonna tell you that's a life changing mission trip. So always taking up funds, that's an expensive trip. Especially taking kids. Last year I took my whole family, and that's one of those given things too. You're looking at $10,000 to $15,000, to go do something like that. But God's always provided.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done without. I've never missed a meal. I've never not been able to, make a payment on my home or whatever else to go do those things. He's always provided, and it's been very fruitful. Quit complaining.
Oh man, it's so fun. I was doing at work today. I was fussing around. I was just kind of moaning, and I'm like, I don't know why I even said that. I said, in all honesty, I love this. I love this challenge, and I love what I was complaining about. I said, I don't know why I'm complaining right now. I said, I guess because everybody else does, and I felt like that's what I'm supposed to do right now. But if I'm being honest with you, I love this challenge and this headache and this. I was fussing around about nothing, but I was like, man, all we do, like we get. I just see like good things happening, especially work related, right? Good things happening, gifts or whatever, and we are going to find the bad in it. We're going to be like, why didn't they do this? Or why didn't we do this? Or why, and I'm just like, man, just stop. And it's easier said than done, but
you've always got that. And I don't know that I complain a lot. Maybe I'm trying to think if I do. Do I complain a lot?
No, I'll let you know. I would, because it's a downer, man. And it's, it's something I deal with. Trying to lead people, right, in the manufacturing environment is trying to get those people, off that complaining and moaning, and let's get to be positive.
That's one of the things I really, in discipleship, and you've got Debbie Downers out there, especially at the holidays. People just come up and nothing's ever right.
Yeah.
All they want to do is tell you their problem. My problems. I got this problem, and it's whatever, and it's almost like they want to bring you down too. Yeah. And I'm like, are you not excited? Do you not?
Yeah.
Do you not know we're celebrating the Savior? Yeah. Trying to, and that's me. I try to twist. I'm like their thought process of like, hey,
there's a good conversation. There's a good gospel conversation starter.
Absolutely,
you do get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bah humbug or whatever. They're just complaining about traffic or whatever commercialism of Christmas. Then that's a good end to start talking about okay, you're right. What should we be doing?
Yeah. But quit complaining.
It's contagious too,
man.
It
is. Something will always go wrong at Christmas. Someone will hurt your feelings. Your parents' house will be too hot.
That was in there?
Yeah. I didn't write this.
Absolutely.
I didn't write this. I pulled it. This is like some things I pulled off the internet here. The house will be too hot. Yeah.
Dude, old people got that thin skin.
Dude, we suffer. We suffer. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get me a cool Christmas tank top. Your brother's house will be too cold. Yeah, so too cold. I guess I wouldn't say I don't get cold, but Amanda, she's cold natured.
Pam, everywhere we go, freezing.
Yeah,
freezing.
She says she hates winter, freezes to death. A meal will be barely edible. Now I'm gonna pick on my mom here. It does not matter. She cooks lasagna every year, but it does not matter how good her meal is. She's gonna say something's wrong with it. I'm like,
oh man, she's got
nothing wrong.
She can't do that because that's contagious too. If you mess up something or forget the ingredient, don't say nothing. Just serve it.
Yeah,
just serve it.
So me and you, we call on who was it in the small group? Complain about her floors.
I don't remember who that was.
Yeah. So we walked in the house. Forgive my floors, whatever. So we ran with it. Dude. Yeah, we rest of the night.
Well, that's all I looked at too. And I'm never going to go over to that house again and not look at her floors. The same person came in and said, hey, my van is a wreck. Whatever you do, don't look inside my van. So we all left the room to go look at this van.
And I turned my flashlight on so I could see in her van and took
naturally
hit the picture button. And then she's like, don't share that. So I was like,
of course I share it. Just stop.
What was funny is Ava Lee had a little thing and went over to the house and I walked in. Floors are immaculate. And
The same person?
yeah. And of course, I didn't say nothing.
Pele.
I was looking, and I was really looking, But I left, and she wasn't there at the time. I haven't said any names here, by the way.
I did just now. I whispered it. You can rewind that.
So, but I went to pick Ava Lee up, and I sat in the car. I didn't go in. So I just went. She comes running out of the house and said, "You better come in here. Look at how clean my floors are."
I already did.
You sit in my house.
I already did.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, they were impressive. Very.
But yeah, you draw attention to the negative. Yeah, especially with cooking. Like that's something my mom's always said. Don't ever if the steak's got too done, don't mention it. Serve it. People are gonna love it.
Yeah.
But you put that idea in their head, it festers and grows, and
yeah.
But again, I would say it's a David taking a great moment and hey, let's throw something in there today.
Let's not talk about the fact that we had this nice big lasagna we're about to eat. Family's here all together.
And the thing is, most of the time I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I didn't even pick up on that at all. But it says, still, God is more pleased with gratitude than with grumbling. If we learn to overlook a few offenses, we'll be happier too. So, and so this complaining is not just about stuff that, meal going wrong, but maybe somebody said something that, irked you in some way. And another one, rejoice to hear the story one more time. And, this is where it's talking about, take some time with your family and make sure the gospel is, make sure the Christmas story is told. So Matthew 1, Luke 2 are coming at you.
Oh, that Christmas story.
So are Isaiah 7, Isaiah 9, Micah 5, and many of these passages you will hear every year, and you're like, well, I've done heard that before. It's old news. And you don't take time to every year open it up and let God speak to you through it and your family through it. And have those conversations. Like I said, I mentioned this on Christmas Eve. We sit around just deep conversations. And I didn't mention this last week either. And I hate that I didn't, and I don't have the book out here. But when my kids were little, we had this little advent calendar book, and every day had 1 through 25, to the day of Christmas Day, or actually Christmas Eve, 24th. And every day it told a piece of the Christmas story.
Yeah.
So I would open up those little books. I did this with every one of my kids, and they absolutely loved it. And they still expect it today. They're like, even Ava Lee's like, hey, Dad, we haven't done the book.
So there's a little book every day? Or
no, it's a book, but it's got little bitty books inside of it.
Okay.
And they tell just a little piece of the story. So like, Mary and Joseph traveling, and why they had taken a census.
That might be better than one that we get our kids with the chocolate in it.
It's really good. I'll have to I need to get a copy of it, and I'll have to take a picture of it and share it on our You're the Man Facebook page and stuff.
I like that.
Really good. I absolutely highly recommend doing that with your children. And again, it opened up, not only did I read that, but I would elaborate and, go into some other stuff too. But you're talking 2 minutes. I mean, little bitty, like quick. But it tells the story all the way through, and it gets them excited about Christmas. It's just the little things that we do that make it up. But rejoice to hear the story. Get excited, to tell the story and to hear the story, and again and again. It's a wonderful
tradition.
It's a tradition that God came down and did for us. Yeah. So we're always going to have those people in our home that maybe we don't agree with. Like I said, we're going to, holidays are a great time, like I said, to get with them and just don't ignore them. Don't separate from them. Use it as opportunity because time's short.
Yeah. I mean, you can address it, fix it, put it to the side. It's a good time to just put it to the side and just be, like you were saying earlier, just enjoy each other's presence.
And what was funny is when I was looking up some of this stuff, I looked at like 3 or 4 different, there's some Christian sites, and then some were just like some generic newspapers where they were like writing stories like, here's the people that you're going to run into at Christmas.
Oh, it's different.
But it was funny. Like some of them were some difference, but there were a lot of similarities in every one of them, right? So this one here broke it down to this. You'll have the generous one, right? And this is the person who tends to treat everyone around Christmas, and particularly, the big day itself, spoiling everyone with gifts, food, drinks, and attention. And I can think of people like that in my family that did that.
And that's the way they
you love to be around them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then you got the one person that just loved to talk, the chatter, just tells you old stories. And sometimes you're like,
Yep. Again, and it's different this time, or it's not different. It's the exact same. Yeah.
But
But that's their love language. That's how they're.
Yeah.
Got it. That's
and some of them, some of them really good stories too. But they keep keep laughter flowing, good vibes going, and like I said, that they're referred to as the chatter. Then you got the diplomat. Christmas can come in its fair share of arguments. Spirits are high, but so are the drinks. This one must think about it from the newspaper. and those tasked with cooking are constantly on alert and dealing with relatives that they don't see outside of this festive time of the year. So this is what the diplomat is for. They are the ones diffusing rows and friction and are desperate to keep the peace at all times.
Yeah.
Usually that's you got brothers and siblings doing that, and the parents are trying to keep that. Then you got the stressy one, right? While some of us like to have a relaxing Christmas, others are determined to make it perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's
and these false expectations.
Yeah, they do.
Crowded calendar is one that trying to avoid.
And they miss enjoying Christmas because they're so stressed about their house being clean, the floors being, perfect, to have a small group outing. That was one of the things that I remember when we did supper club through small group, right? And this is before we did a Sunday night small group, Sunday morning small group. We did supper club once a month, and somebody in our small group would host at their house. But you had some of those people who said, I'm never doing that. I'm never going to host you at my house because I got all these flaws in my home.
Mm-hmm.
I've never walked in somebody's house and said, man, that wall needs to be painted, or I can't. Damn.
Don't lead with that. That's what I'm saying. Don't pay attention to that. They never would have seen that cobweb if you didn't say, "Oh, I got these cobwebs. These are my Halloween decorations."
But I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, man, I really want. I'm having this party. I want everything to be perfect. So, but you got sometimes you can stress yourself out and you miss the blessing of the time together. Then you got the Grinch. There's always that one relative who acts like they don't want to be there. And they're often referred to as the Grinch. And I've had those too.
Yeah.
Just standoffish and,
I've been that guy. I'm maybe not Christmas, but like just outings and things like I'm like, man, I don't want to go to this. I don't want to, and then end up getting there. And, you probably been there too.
You feel like
sometimes
you feel like about the podcast. Like, man, I gotta go record this.
But then you have a great time and go, why do I act that? Because I'm being lazy, right? Lazy or selfish with my time or whatever. But this is not time to do that. This is time to be together. And this is time to have the opportunity to see people that you don't always see.
Agreed. The picky one, like the Grinch, the picky one can be just as hard to please and often make the food selection even more complex due to their dietary requirements.
We ain't got none of those. Nobody listens to them.
Yeah.
We don't listen to them.
We make fun of those people.
Yeah.
We don't do that. The excited one. The preparation before Christmas is just as important as the big day itself. And, I'm that guy.
Oh, really? That's where Andrew gets it from? I feel like Andrew's the one I think about.
He is, but I try to, I always tell my kids, to anticipation is the most important thing. Because Christmas Day goes quick.
Oh, yeah.
And you're tired, especially for
and it's the feelings of the season, of the time of year that you're going to.
Being with family and getting excited about the big day.
Yep.
And,
And it's different. It's different than the rest of the year, and it should be.
It is. But now that my boys are not, when I was a kid, they were little, they were like, that's stupid, Daddy. I like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But now they're like, yep, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
I love, and now they're mad because, like I said, we're 13 days away from Christmas. Like, why is it going so fast?
Yeah.
So that's probably getting older.
Get used to it, dude. And next Christmas will be here next week. You'll see.
So, we joke about some of these things, but, this is an opportunity time for every Christian is to enjoy Christmas. You've got some loved ones that this may be the last one, and you got some opportunities of family members you don't see any other time of the year. Make a habit of going and, talking to them and conversating with them, and not just generic, let's talk about football,
And don't be the Grinch, man. You need to let that light shine. This is the opportunity to let that light shine. And, maybe you don't want to have a deep gospel conversation, and that's fine too, but let them see God working in your life. And I guess that's where I'm at. I don't want my family and friends especially that I don't see much, right, to see me stressing at the holidays, worrying about the house being too clean, or worrying about the kids not being perfect. I want them to see that happy, joyful, and free.
Well, we've mentioned many points here, but one of them that really stood out to me was the Debbie Downer one, right? Being that just always down in everything, and life is bad.
Yeah.
If you claim I'm a follower of Christ, or that person, why would I ever want to follow you? Why would I ever want to follow the Christ that you're talking about?
Right.
Because it seems like you have
Yeah.
a lot rougher time than I have. So don't be that person, But be an encourager. Take time, spend it with your family, love on your family, and man, just make this the best Christmas ever.
Have fun.
So absolutely. So thank you guys for joining You Are the Man podcast. We got one more episode we're going to do before Christmas, and then we'll take a little break around the holidays just to spend time with our families.
A little bit.
Yeah, and then we'll get back in January. So catch you next week.